Bună ziua, sunt Bogdan Alecu și bine ați venit la o nouă emisiune ZF Cum Construim România, realizată de Ziarul Financiar și CBRE. Mergem mai departe și discutăm astăzi despre sectorul logistic, nu doar în România, ci la nivel regional. Îi avem alături de noi astăzi pe Carl Deppisch, Head of Industrial and Logistics în cadrul CBRE pentru EMEA, regiunea Europei Centrale, de Est și regiunea per ansamblu, dar și pe Răzvan Marinescu, CEO al KLG Europe Logistics pentru România și vedem care sunt planurile de expansiune ale companiei la nivel regional. Salut Răzvan. Hello Carl, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having me as well. Good afternoon.
And now we will switch to English. First of all, I'll start with Carl, just to have an image at the regional level. Carl, what can you tell us about the data you have for Central and Eastern Europe? How high is the demand for logistics and industrial? Because, for example, in Romania, in the last 2 years, actually almost 3 years, we have been discussing about nearshoring, friendshoring, companies that come to Romania to have their HQ here or install production or logistics hub for the region. And now Romania is member of the Schengen area. We have new highways. So from our point of view, our perspective is better than a few years back. What else can you tell us?
Well, let me maybe start with a general European overview of the industrial and logistics market. What we see this year is a recovery of the market. It's up by about 18%, especially from an industrial investment side. The occupier markets are not so strong. We've seen between 23 and 24 a decrease in take-up by about 11.5%. So this means that we are back to pre-pandemic levels. So the long-term average was around where we are today. What we see in general, and this applies to both investors and occupiers as well, is that decision-making is taking longer. Projects are being put on the scale and being assessed for a longer time. But what we see as well is that the softening markets do show advantages for the occupiers. So we see that the landlords are providing more flexibility, and that is on the basis of increasing vacancy rates, which we see. What we also see, and that again applies also across the board, is that incentives provided by landlords are increasing, although the headline rents are fairly stable, and especially also in prime locations, we still see some increase. But in general, I think the market is shifting from a landlord to an occupier market. In terms of general trends, and that applies in the same way to Central and Eastern Europe, and especially also to Romania, is what we've seen is that occupiers and investors alike are investing heavily in ESG, in their green agenda. So especially in Romania, we've seen a lot of new modern logistics buildings with ESG features, with green energy, with photovoltaic panels appearing. So this is a very good sign. From a general point of view, we have performed an occupier survey for our industrial and logistics clients. And what we see here is that in the near term, also because of all the supply chain implications, occupiers believe that their demand for space will increase, whereas over a 3-year horizon, they are a bit more cautious than they were last year. But still about 50% of all the industrial logistics occupiers believe they will increase their footprint in the near future.
Thank you.
So that's sort of the general market trend, if you like.
Thank you, Carl. Now we will switch to Răzvan. Hello, Răzvan. Also, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me, Bogdan.
You heard
yes.
Carl. What's your opinion? How do you see the Romanian market from a logistics company's point of view?
I think for when I'm looking to the logistic market, and I think it's very important to address the concept of competitiveness in terms, and I'm looking from three different layers. First of all, Carl mentioned about the tariffs situation, tariffs war actually. And I'm concerned about European position comparing with we are negotiating with the United States or with Asia countries. So I'm looking to see what uncertainty are on the table for European position, what is our strategy, the long-term strategy for 5 years. Then I'm looking to second layer for the regional, Eastern and Central Europe, how Romania is positioning, because all the projects you mentioned earlier in nearshoring, actually Romania is competing like a company with various other countries like Poland or Czech Republic, Bulgaria and so on. So actually what is our position then again here? I think we are in a good position. I just looked last week on a report on logistic infrastructure, and actually Romania was in the third place after Poland and Czech Republic on both several indicators from number of new logistics space per capita, or World Bank has some sort of a logistic index that score each country, and we are in a good position, I think, for that part. We are 3.4, 3.5 on a scale from 1 to 5. So I think we are in a good position. What do I think that we need to focus more is infrastructure. For me, it's pity that we are not using Constanța as the full capability. It's a very good opportunity to consider Constanța Eastern Gateway to Europe and to invest heavily over there. Carl mentioned about ESG and the Green Deal, and I think there are a lot of possibility to use Constanța as a multimodal transit hub towards Eastern and Central Europe. Railway, you can use Danube with the barges and so on, so it's a lot of potential. And then the third place, I'm looking at the company level, or what does it mean competitiveness, or what solution can a Romanian company based in Romania, can a logistic operator can provide to the investors that are coming with capital in Romania, either to build manufacturing plants or distribution centers and so on. So I think it's a mix of everything. There is indeed a degree of, let's say, uncertainty on the market, and I think everybody is waiting now. Mm-hmm. We are, let's say, watching these days the government, let's say, being formed. And I think in the following weeks, everybody is waiting to, or they are preparing to redo the entire business plan for this year, because there are so many rumors in the newspapers and the forums about what changes will be to our fiscal code that everybody is waiting at the moment for that. But we see some pressure on cost. Just to bring up some details on comparing with the previous years, the rental prices are rising this year. Carl said that it's a trend of decreasing. We are waiting patiently for that to happen. And there is indeed signals from the landlords that are more flexible in approach. The project we're discussing at the moment, we see a lot of degree of flexibility towards them. So this is a good point, because we will be more competitive with our neighboring countries in providing solution for our potential customers.
Mm-hmm. How does your portfolio look like right now when it comes to business? How much do you want to expand? What are KLG's plans now?
Our plans, we are in a growing strategy at the moment, 5 years. Our goal is 15% per year increase in revenue. For the 5 months starting to 2025, we are a bit above that the goal. So year on year, we are just a nice growth at the moment. We're gonna achieve this year probably around 65 to 70 million euros in revenue. It's a mix between, we are doing 3/4 of our business is freight forwarding, ocean and air, international road and domestic. And about 25% is our warehousing business. We have several sites in Romania, which we are doing e-fulfillment, business logistic for e-commerce business, and also, let's say, classical warehousing operations for our customers. Mm-hmm.
How big is the total surface?
We have roughly about 50,000 square meters near Bucharest, at A1 kilometer 23 near Bolintin. And then we have 5,000 more in Cluj-Napoca and 4,000 in Timișoara. This is our footprint in Romania. We have 8 more locations all over countries, but are cross-docks. We have one of the biggest pallet distribution network in Romania, so we are using this It's a hub and spoke system. We are doing next day delivery of about 5,000 to 7,000 pallets a day, covering entire Romania.
Expand at the regional level? Is this on the table?
There is it was and still is on table. We started in January this year. We opened our own branch in Serbia, coordinated by KLG Romania, KLG Europe Romania. We have also planned to add one more country. We have already a small office in Greece that we want to expand next year. So we are doing our best to expand our businesses, especially on freight forwarding. We have a lot of customers that need our presence in these countries. We truly believe in Serbia. It's an economy at the moment with fast growing. We see a lot of potential over there. We, being part of Sinotrans Group, as a Chinese company, we see a lot of Chinese investment in Serbia, and we are trying to use our cross-selling capabilities to all these partners, these potential customers. So we are very happy how we started over there. I mean, it's going according to our planning intention, and we have a 5 years plan to expand our operations forward in that region. We are focusing on Eastern and Central Europe.
Thank you. Carl, just one question regarding the type of investors that we can attract in Central and Eastern Europe. Are the Chinese on the top of the list, for example, when it comes to potential investors or companies that could rent warehouses?
Yeah, I think we see a lot of companies coming in from China. It's an increasing volume. Part of it is certainly driven by the tariff discussion, but overall, China is changing its role from the extended workbench for European companies. As you see, there's a rise of very important Chinese industrial companies who are obviously producing for the world market, and they also are now seeking to deal with the global economic situation, which means that they need to be producing in or closer to the markets of their consumers. And that trend has been going on for quite a while. So we see Chinese investment flowing in. I think automotive was one of the first movers, but we do see a lot of e-commerce companies, logistics companies, but also in general consumer goods companies coming and looking for space in Eastern Europe. And Romania is certainly a very important market for them. I think in general, Romania has become much more attractive and important due to a couple of factors. It's the geographic location, which obviously is very central on the axis between the EU markets and the Black Sea, with good access also to the Balkans. And there has been a lot of progress being made in infrastructure and obviously also in the general framework, legal and compliance framework of the country. So I think there's a very good climate also for non-Asian investors to come in, and we've seen over the past years obviously a lot of European countries being active, especially also in the real estate space, and creating very modern logistics parks. Again, I think this is one of the key points for Romania going forward, would be to embrace that, to build on the skilled and still competitively priced workforce, build on the improvement of the infrastructure, the legal framework, and continue to invest into A-class business parks, into green energy, and especially also to continue to improve the infrastructure, maybe through private-public partnerships, to gain in competitive advantage. And I think if that path is continued, certainly Romania can play very quickly in the top rank of the CEE countries and beyond.
For example, a few years back, I had a discussion regarding the South African investors. They came to Central and Eastern Europe. They invested a lot in Romania. We have actually many South African companies that built warehouses or shopping centers in Romania, and they did so because for them Romania was Europe, and it was quite attractive in comparison with the local market. Romania being member of the EU, our economy is stable, it's safe, a bit different than the South African one. When it comes to China, I saw that they have a huge interest in Central Europe and Western Europe. Why is that from your point of view? And how can we attract them here to the eastern part of Europe? What are they looking for especially, and what's their profile?
Well, I think it's emerging pretty much. From a industry perspective, automotive is very strong, but here they are looking for existing automotive hubs. Obviously, also here Romania is not too badly placed. The second one, the consumer goods sector, obviously looks for great agglomerations. So here a lot of is still centered around the key agglomerations in more in Western and Central Europe. But I believe what the next wave to come is the mid-size industrial companies. We see some early signs, and that could be a good alternative. What they are looking for is proximity to the European market, and here obviously with Romania being part of it, this is a key advantage to have stock and to produce inside the European context. So I think that's what they're looking for. Otherwise, it is I think the key attraction items are stability, especially in terms of the entire legal framework. The labor, I think skilled labor is a key advantage, and then obviously as in logistics always, location and infrastructure are quite important. And I think here also Romania is making great steps ahead. So I've heard from my Romanian colleagues that until the end of 2027, another 700 kilometers of highway are being completed. So I think if this will be clearly playing in the hands of Romania in terms of location factors.
Thank you, Carl. Do you have a question for Răzvan? Now's the time. If you have a question for Răzvan.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no problem. Răzvan, I have been also working for a 3PL company not too long ago. I was working as head of real estate for Kühne Nagel in a global position. So I understand that for you, actually the pan-European operations are increasingly important. So what is your role for Romania in that Central Eastern European context, and even if you are seeking to expand more in Europe, what role will Romania continue to play over the next 5 years?
Thank you for the question, Carl. Very good question. I mean, I'm optimistic by nature, so I can reply to this question by my dream. I think that Romania should build the country strategy based on 3 pillars. One should be education, because we continue to talk about skilled labor, and we are discussing about what it means to be a good citizen, to make the right choices, and to add value to the economy. So education is one key factor. Secondly, it's infrastructure. I think our position continue to be a solid logistic hub opportunity for the region. So I think we did major steps in the last 3 to 5 years. So I think we should continue. Now we are discussing Romania about cutting investments, some costs from that perspective. I think the last point we should cut should be the infrastructure, because it's driven the economical growth. So we should be very open on that. And the third one, I think it's a huge potential for Romania, looking on the region on both global market, is the power of AI. And I'm not speaking about AI purely as a personal assistant, as very fashionable now, using ChatGPT to do your homeworks or checking a contract. I'm speaking about automation using AI, which in the end will be a great value for competitivity of Romania, on the Romanian companies or the investor in Romania. So I think we have a lot of skilled workforce in IT. I think if you make, let's say, a project of the country to facilitate this strategy under government supervision and create, let's say, the scope and the drive for that will be a great potential for Romania. I think we are in a good position. It's not too late. I mean, we are in a very incipient phase of the discussion. I know that we are doing inside our company for more than 8 months now various developments in AI, and we are continuously amazed by the positively surprised by what benefits can we get from that. Actually, Bogdan asked me earlier about what is our plan. I will tell you about 15% growth every year. Our goal is to fuel this growth solely by not increasing the headcount, by efficiency through AI in our company. And we've seen that starting this year is manageable, it's doable. So I think should be one of the key factors in Romania to address this in the region. We can make the difference. So to sum up, education, infrastructure, and AI. These should be the 3 keywords for Romania to position itself in the region and in Europe.
Carl, what's your point of view regarding AI? How do you think it will change also the real estate market? Because in the last year, I had more and more discussions about data centers, for example.
Yeah, absolutely. I think data centers are a key driver, and they are coming more and more into a competition with traditional warehousing projects. So clearly, AI is driving a lot of demand in similar locations of similar buildings from the infrastructure side as general logistics buildings. So in that sense, it will have a driver effect on cost, and it will be a competition for the availability of land in some prime locations. On the other side, I think it is also for the real estate business a key enabler. It will help companies to optimize their space. It will also help the investor and occupiers to make better advantage of their buildings from planning to operating stage. So I think there are lots and lots of opportunities coming out of that. And as we embrace AI, and I think that's happening to us all on a daily basis, you discover more and more opportunities how to use this technology in your day-to-day business life.
So now, Răzvan, when you're looking at new sites, energy is number one.
It is okay. Of course, there are several criteria. You look at the availability of people. Now it's better. If I look 2-3 years ago, or even before the pandemic, I mean, we bring people to work from between 150 to 200 kilometers away, which is 4 hours per day. One of our colleagues was coming and driving back from work, which is not sustainable or long term. So we are looking to have people available, which I repeat now, it's way better than the past. We look for available energy, of course. We are doing some sort of gravity analysis. We are looking for potential customers, and we are looking to the inbound flows and outbound flows and determine the positioning of the site in an optimal way in order to save cost in the end. Because location of if I look to several distribution centers that we simulate over the years, for most of them, transport was a significant higher proportion than purely storage facility or handling activity. So determine the location, it's a critical in the business plan for the location.
Your shareholder is a Chinese company.
Yes.
What inside info can you give us about their plans? How attractive are we in the Romanian market and the region for them? Because now if I take a step back, I look at the Hungarians, I see that it's like they knew something, because the German investors have problems now in Romania because of including Trump in the US, but the Chinese are expanding. So the BYD is building a new plant in Szeged, near Romania. Cherry, if I'm not mistaken, is looking at the plant in Spain. They have big plans for Europe when it comes to production, not only sales. That's because at first I thought that we will become a market for their production in China, but no, they want to come to Europe and produce here.
I think this is natural in the end, that they try to access the market and preventively fight any tariff war that may appear in the future. But related to Sinotrans, I mean, it's a listed company, so I mean, they're kind of transparent in their plans. If you look, read their quarterly reports, you can see everything there. But the fact that they have a company, a branch in Romania, represents that they trust the country and they see the potential of Romania as well. I think it's in the end, business is business. Of course, there are also a component of political in the end, and the relation between the governments and the countries to facilitate or not the investment in that part. But I think there is a huge potential for all in the region with all the Chinese investment. Indeed, in Hungary, in Serbia, and some of the former Yugoslavian countries, we see more capital from China there. And I do think that, like Carl said in the start, we've seen the first wave, big companies from China going and investing in Europe. And I think we are now ready to see a second wave, mid-sized companies that are following the European market, because I think they suffer quite a bit when the tariff discussion started in the United States. And they are looking for alternative markets at the moment. So I do think that it's there are a lot of opportunities for European Union to tighten the relation with China and take some business opportunity. We need allies in the world. So the world is changing now. So I think all cards are on the table at the moment. So we need to be very pragmatic on how we're going to play our cards in Europe.
And when it comes to importing from China, we saw problems on the Red Sea, Houthi rebels, ships going around Africa. So
still valid at the moment. The transit time, historical transit time to Constanța from main port in China, from Shanghai, for example, was 30-35 days. At the moment, real transit time, it's above 60. So we can say it's almost double in time. I do think they're going to fix it rather sooner than later. So I do not think that will be years to come like this. So probably a question of months. It's still feasible. In the pandemic years, we had rates like skyrocketing. We had import of a container, 40-foot container from China was above $15,000. Now the market is stable. I mean, we are looking at $3,000-4,000. So it's rather acceptable. It's probably the normal price for this traffic. So I think there is potential for that part, and like I said, all cards on the table. Should be very pragmatic on how we're going to play our cards as European countries.
Thank you. Carl, what's your point of view regarding the trade routes from China, including now the problem, the war we actually see between Israel and Iran? Do you think it will change the data? Because even before this, we had problems in the Red Sea and the whole region in the Middle East, and ships were going around Africa to deliver to Europe.
Yeah. Listen, it's very difficult to say without a crystal ball, but if we look at the past, I mean, disruptions in supply chains are not new, and they have happened also during the pandemic, and they have happened before. Whatever this does is companies are seeking to solidify their supply chains, and the answer that we see is usually nearshoring of at least of critical processes and critical production steps, and increase of inventory closer to the markets. And this is also what we see, I think, in the last couple of years and intensifying over the last couple of months. So there is an increasing demand for options to produce closer to the market. We see that in automotive, but we also see that in the life science sector, where also production is coming back to the main markets. And again, that obviously drives demand in space, not only logistics space, but also production space.
Okay, thank you both of you for the interview and for our small talk show. Very interesting information you gave us today, including the part about China and of course the AI and data centers. Thank you again, Carl, for joining us, and also Răzvan for being us here.
Thank you for having us, Bogdan, and nice to meet you, Carl.
Likewise. Thanks for having me, and a good day to both of you.
Thank you again. Mulțumesc telespectatorilor noștri și vă doresc o zi bună în continuare. La revedere!